I'm awake. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Just take a nap. Let's just, just like, title this YouTube video, we take a nap for 30 minutes.
Right back. Oh, man. Yo, so, my name is Kendall. This is another Conqueror Movement TCM interview, and we have Zeno, Childish Game Zeno, the voice of some of your favorite. Give him a few of your. Who's, you know what? Let's start like this. Of the past year.
Of the past year.
Literally just this year.
Yeah.
In this year, who has been your favorite that you have voiced?
Okay, this year, I'm gonna have to give it to Thrash from Transformers. Transformers Earthspark. I haven't even talked about this on Comic-Con. You guys are getting like exclusive like stuff that I haven't even said. Like, but they like let me do a lot. Like it was a lot of fun, and like they would let me do like a lot with like the script and playing around with the character and things like that, and like just being in Transformers period was like really fun. So that might have to be like my personal favorite because it's just a very freeing project to be a part of. But of course, it's like Vanitas, of course, is always fun. Like Vanitas is like one of my favorite roles that I've done so far to date. It was just like
when I saw that you were, I was like,
I like threw myself into that role, and like I really, and the director David Wall was like, he worked with me we just worked together really well. And Ty in Digimon, I don't know.
I think you're. Even just online, your expression when you were finally able to announce that. I remember reading that and I was like...
I remember my agent called, so I auditioned for it, and my voice was kind of like how it is now. I think I was just coming off of Anime NYC. Actually, no, I was working on it during Anime NYC, I think. But I had just started working on it. But I was coming from another con, I think. And my voice was kind of like how it is now, like kind of hoarse, kind of raspy. And I was like, oh man, like, can they give me one more day? Like, my voice is not gonna be able to sustain this character. And then he was like, okay, we can do one more day, and another day. And then I was like, okay, I need one more, like, so my voice can fully recover. And he was like, I can only extend this so far. So he gave me one more day, I turned it in, and I was like, and even then, it hadn't fully recovered. And I was like, I'm not booking it. Like, it's just not meant to be. It's just not meant to be. And I knew it was for Digimon, and like there was a bunch of characters. So I auditioned for like, Ty and Joe and Matt and like all the other kids. And I remember I got the call, and my agent was like, hey, is Ty the main kid in Digimon? And I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, well, you're playing Ty, and I was like, what? No way! I was like, me? Like, I just thought that was crazy, and I was like, wow, like my people are gonna love this. Like, I was like, my people are gonna love this.
So you got to do Yu-Gi-Oh now.
Yeah, right. That's the Pokemon, Digimon, Dragon Ball. You gotta get I guess this year, maybe for me this year, Gamma 2 might be my favorite. Then I keep forgetting that like Gamma 2 was this year. Yeah, but dang, there's so many. Yeah, I know. Yu-Gi-Oh, maybe. That's a whole other. I think that's recorded in New York. Yeah, man. So cool.
Awesome. So I know we just jumped into things, I appreciate you. We've spoken several times. I'm trying to get into the voice side of the thing. I've been learning. I've been, trying to get a lot more familiar with everything.
Yeah.
Didn't get a chance to like steal AJ and them and
it's okay.
Earlier, but we gonna find them. We gonna find everybody at some point.
Yeah.
But my questions for you are gonna be a lot more selfish than all my other interviews.
Oh, go for it, bro. I love it when the questions aren't, typical like, what advice do you have, or how did it feel?
That's not neither here nor there. Again, like you said, you can pick up anybody else's interview and get that engagement. Yeah. So my first question is basically, what is it like for you in regards to managing your friends? So we were talking a little bit off the camera.
Wow.
We were talking a little bit off the camera. Like,
okay.
You kind of, I've seen even like sometimes just in shared spaces that you are often like, bro, you're big bro sometimes.
Yeah.
A lot of the times.
Yeah.
So how is it managing those friendships, especially since you have, I'm sure you have friends that aren't necessarily, creatives or in the same light as creative spaces, and then you also have your friends that are in creative spaces. So how is it managing that like dynamic?
Sometimes I think it could be tough. For me, specifically, especially because I can tend to become a little more withdrawn. And I think, especially in recent years, post-pandemic, especially after post-Hawks and after everything had happened, and like I think I hit a point in my life where I was like, I'm just gonna focus on acting. That's just gonna be. This is the only thing keeping me like alive. This is the only thing keeping me going. And so I think I leaned into that so hard, like it became my primary focus, and everyone else in my life didn't. And so like during the pandemic, I was working like every single day, and so like my communication skills took a big hit because of it, and I'm still like recovering from that to this day. Like I'm still like trying to get better at responding to people. I'm still trying to get better at like updating people. I'd be assuming a lot like a lot on the other person's behalf. I'm still learning a lot about like navigating like friendships and relationships and like what's okay, what isn't okay, and like learning about boundaries and things like that. So like, and looping that into like maintaining friendships with like creatives and non-creatives. You know, I have voice acting friends who I like to hang out with, right? And then, you know, those are people, you know, Rico Fajardo, you know, like all the cool voice actor people I met. And then I have like my like close knit of friends who are like all Black creatives, or just all like a mixed bag of like people. And then I have my friends from high school who like aren't necessarily in either of those two spaces, but like they're like my found family in a way. So like I got Ryan, my boys Ryan and Daryl are here. You know, those are like my boys from high school. And I was like, oh, you guys would love this convention. Come with me to this convention. Like I'll hook it up. You know what I mean? So like that's kind of how I try to manage. Just trying to. Sometimes I have to bring people together, even if like I don't think all the communities are mesh. At my birthday, every birthday I'll go to this place in LA called Button Mash. It's my favorite place in the world. They closed down the pandemic. I was devastated. They literally just opened back up.
Let's go.
I've been waiting for them for 2 years to open back up, and they literally just opened back up. But for my birthday, I say, hey, I invite everyone. I say, this is where I'm going to be. Come or not, but I'm gonna be there. And usually it ends up just being this mixture of all of my friends. So like that's kind of how I try to maintain it, is like trying to make sure I like keep my circles to my circles sometimes, and then kind of mix them when I can, and try to give them all like equal amounts of like love and care and kindness and open and availability and being there when they need it. And sometimes it means stretching myself a little thin. But I think like I value others, you know, so much that I think like, you know, that it's worth it. For me, I know I'm trying to learn how to not do that though, but like
I think there's a healthy balance that has to exist. And like you said, I think we all have phases of life.
Yeah.
Like, you know, especially if you've gone to school or you've been through different jobs, maybe between your jobs you've made certain little people who become like family. Like you said, you have these like different form families, but then for different things.
Yeah.
So it's like, man, how do you balance that? Like, no, I really get that, and I appreciate the answer. My next question is selfishly, how do I become a better friend to you? How? Because I know that you talk to me. I know every now and again we can think, but like, is there something that I can do to be a better person around you?
I'm getting emotional. Like, people don't ask me this question.
I told you I'm being selfish.
Oh my God.
I'm serious.
I'm so caught off guard. How can you be a better friend to me? I don't know. I don't know. I just like, I feel like it's, whenever I see you, you always show love, bro. And like, I feel like sometimes, I don't know. I really don't know. I can't think of like anything, because I just, and that's what I'm trying to be more like better about like being more selfish, right? Like I think I've like grown into a hyper independency where I feel something happened where I felt like I don't really need it or want anyone for anything.
It's a drive. I think
yeah.
I have that same thing where it's like you get so,
yeah,
teammates but friends back here will
right.
attest. I get hyper focused on things, especially when it's like work, and especially like you said, being passionate about my friends and people, that it becomes so hyper focused that I'm now distracted.
Exactly.
From what I personally need to do for myself.
So I'm trying to learn, like, you have to, like, I guess maybe, I don't know if I have to, but something I'm like exploring about in my head is like, what do you want from people? Like, and often my answer is nothing. Like, I don't want anything from anyone. You know what I'm saying? But that, it gets me in trouble a lot because even in like intimate or romantic relationships, I'm often like, I don't want anything from you. Like, I don't want anything from you but like to just focus on this connection or this bond, like friends, platonically, not platonically, anything. Like, I feel like I've developed like a hyper independence that I'm trying to break. Because some people, even if I feel like I may not need something from the other person is gonna need something from me. And I think like that kind of clarity might be necessary in like friendships, right? Like, what do I need from this person? What do I want from this person? And often it's nothing, right? But maybe I can channel that nothing into I want to be a better friend to this person, or like so for you, how can you be a better friend to me? I think, man, I just keep doing what you're doing, but maybe, like a step you could take.
Let me pitch something for you.
Okay. Okay.
Why you gathering that thought? Let me pitch something. I'm gonna let you gather it because I feel like you it's almost there.
Yeah, I'm reaching.
Let me pitch some stuff for you. Do you feel like, and this is anybody watching, any other friends, this is, I'm not shading and I'm just asking questions. Don't hit me. But do you feel like you are being checked in on enough? Do you feel like you are being able to, because you're a multi-dimension person, are you getting to really have time for the other facets of you that aren't things like voice acting specifically, going to conventions, being in these spaces? I'm just asking that to see if it kind of helps. I'm
gonna get comfortable. Now I'm getting comfortable. Look, I'm taking my shoes off. I'm like, okay, like here we are. We're here. So like, for me, it's not that I feel like I don't get checked in on enough, because I feel like I do get checked in on a lot. I think I personally, I always reject it. I'm always like, I'm good. I'm always like, I'm fine. I'm always like, it's cool. I got it. I like who I am in spaces like this more than I like who I am by myself, because in spaces like this, I feel like I have an impact. I can physically, tangibly like see my impact. I can physically, tangibly, whenever I see someone like you, I love your work. You do that. That's like, this is my impact. This is my purpose. And it's more like, I feel like for me, it's a little sadder than, because it's like, it means it's like self-abandonment, for me. It's like everybody else takes precedent before me, because I'm not important enough to myself to take precedent for myself. So when I ask, you know what I'm saying?
I feel very attacked by your words.
It's like, for me, I don't matter. You matter, but I don't.
I don't know if it's for you, but for me, it's like, that's what's making me feel good.
Yes, I feel gratified. I feel gratified helping someone else feel comfortable. I feel gratified like making someone else feel safe or helping someone else do something. I don't want to burden it, because I have to be, right? Like I've got to be strong for the both of us. You know what I'm saying? So for you, to you, there's nothing wrong with me, because I need to be here if there's something wrong with you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I can't.
The moment you break.
The moment I break, now I'm weak. And I'm weak now. So it's having to, like, for me, like, unlearn that. But I'm very stubborn, because I think I've just always been like that my whole life. Like, putting others before myself, putting others before myself. Do
you have siblings, if I may ask? Are you the eldest, middle, youngest?
I'm the middle sibling. I have an older sister and I have a little sister. But even then, like, I feel like I should do better at, like, checking in on my.
You said it there. You just said you got two sisters.
Yeah.
You know what that means?
I'm the middle.
Big brother.
Yeah.
You're the big brother,
yes.
regardless.
Yes.
Because you know what I mean? And that dynamic. Because I have two younger sisters, at least in the household that we grew up in and everything. So I get that. So here's then what I am curious to. Do you take time when you're enjoying yourself with company, whether that's romantic, platonic, or whatever? Have you ever tried to just take notes of what you're doing in that moment and kind of go back and look at it? Because what that might be is just learning what those things are for you. You know what I mean? Because it's like, oh, I don't need this because I'm already doing it.
Right.
I don't need. It's like, oh man, do you need something? It's like, oh no, we're already at the restaurant eating my favorite food.
Right.
But that's the thing, right? It's like, okay, well, maybe not right in this moment. I don't need this, but you know what? I really like getting food with you. I really like having time to talk to you. Zeno.
Right.
Is there a way that I can get more time to talk? Is there a way that I can get more time to get food with you? Figuring out how that dynamic may work for you. Is, I guess, my kind of thought process is something that might be like something to kind of sit with to see. Because I think at least, again, I'm projecting currently. And
it's okay.
So for me, what I have been kind of trying to deal with is just like, okay, I know that I am trying to work on this.
Mm.
Like I have been getting lectured by my brother over here this whole weekend because I've not been pitching myself really well. But I'm also here like I have the camera in my hand. I'm working. I'm doing this for this specific platform. I'm trying to make sure the other people that I'm here supporting are being supported the way that they need to. He's introduced to people more than I have that I want to get into this. He's done that more for me.
Yeah.
My camera person, Nathalie, again, these are my friends. Like they're the ones that's checking me and being like, okay, but you need to do this. Like you can't just sit there and shut down and make the list and get hyper focused. Like you still, and constantly like, are you upset? It's like, I'm not upset. I'm just thinking. I'm really trying to plan the next like several steps ahead. So like I said, like for me, I know like, so I guess to what I was saying is to get out of that kind of space. I know I've had to kind of take back, and I've been, making a little more notes of stuff. And figuring out what I want to do more, which has allowed me to do more. But I think where I am, at least personally, is like now it's like the time to strip back. It's like I feel like I've been telling people a lot of things, and now it's time like put a little bit too much of myself out there. So how do I want to navigate that? So in that same light, how do you take time for yourself and your mental space? Because I can't imagine you have much time for yourself where it's not accompanied with either work or community, which is not a bad thing, but you still need your space, yes?
I don't. I don't. I am full escapism, distraction, work. Like, I've had to learn how to try to take time for myself recently. But like, my way of taking time for myself is like working on an audition, or like working on a personal project, or like playing a video game to distract myself from the fact that I need to be focused on myself. And it's all come back to bite me because it has affected all of the relationships with everybody I've ever been close to. I don't think I've ever been more socially like fractured with people in my close relationships than I have been at this particular time in my life. Like I like socially fractured, just like things that I feel like is common sense to other people, but is not common sense to me because I never learned that within myself.
That's so people, because we literally just talked about this in the car, literally driving here. We just have
what I think like this is important is like, because I know you guys are all like, oh, you're Zeno Robinson, I'm just like y'all, you know what I'm saying? No amount of whatever thing you climb to is gonna mean you can't do the work. You know what I mean? No amount of success or no amount of any kind of plateau you hit is gonna mean you can ignore this, because it's always gonna be there. It's always gonna be there no matter where you are, or and it just like sometimes it just happens to take effect. You know what I'm saying? Like in ways that you like really wish it didn't. Like I've had so many conversations about friends being like, hey, it really hurt me when you did this and you forgot about this because you're so focused on your own thing. Like it really hurt me when you didn't answer, and it really hurt my feelings. And me, I'm hyper, I'm very empathetic, and I'm always trying to take care of everybody. So if I fail one person, I failed everyone. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like I'm a failure. And like, so like I'm like, dang, like I can't believe I hurt that person. Like that's unforgivable. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm harder on myself than I am with anything else. So taking time for myself, and then leaning back to the other thing, like it's like learning how to feel like you're important enough to take time for yourself. Like having to learn like I have to be important enough to take time for myself. Like sometimes I feel like initially people want to do it like for others, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, I gotta work on myself because I'm hurting the people around me, and I have to try to learn, like, I gotta learn by myself so I can be happier with myself, you know what I mean? So like, it's really a lot of like, yeah, man. I appreciate you, man. But yeah, like taking time for myself is like something I'm really, so like in the mornings, if I wake up early enough, I try to wake up like an hour before a session and journal and just write, write how I feel. I try to keep my journal on me because you don't know when your head is gonna really is gonna really come at you. And like, even 2 weeks ago, I went in this huge this depressive spiral. It was bad there was a reason. I felt like I had failed someone really close to me, and I had like kind of fractured our friendship. and like and it was like my fault, and it was just like something that I just dumb that I did, and I was just like ruminating on it. So I had to write it. I had to just write it out, and like that's usually what I do, like to a couple minutes or something,
that's
until I can't like put any or whatever.
Yeah, that's big. That's absolutely big, especially because you're going all the time. When are you gonna have time to process any of that? So even if you never go back to it, at least it's been placed somewhere.
Yeah.
I appreciate your transparency so much with this. Yeah. I promise you. You see them shaking their head. These are conversations. Between drives, these are conversations we've been having this whole weekend. Yeah. We've been talking about having boundaries for ourselves. Yeah. We've been talking about adjusting for certain friendships.
I never even heard of the term boundary before last year. This year. Now that I know.
So
and then I realized that I have none. I realized that I have absolutely none.
You're reading me for You're reading me.
Yeah. Like I realized that I have none. I've been and that's why I've been trying to avoid getting into relationships at this current point in my life, because I just I can't show up for you the way I can't show up for me.
I would want to even.
And if we were to do this, I wouldn't be a good partner to you. I wouldn't. And I don't know how long that's gonna take. You're way more emotionally intelligent than I am. You know what your boundaries are. You know what you want. You know your wants and needs. I don't know anything. The only thing that I know how to do is act. That's the only thing I know how to do. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't have a problem with that. I was fine with that at one particular point in my life, but until it started kind of coming down on the other people in my life, and that's when I realized, I have to, not just for me, but for them too. Mm-hmm. If I continue the way I continue, how am I ever Philip is here, right? And he's my roommate. He's got this very open heart. And every time he's out, he's enjoying life. He's let's go eat outside. I'm what are you talking about, bro? I have auditions. You want to go eat outside in the sunshine and the flowers and the rainbows? I'm trying to get work. I've got people on my back I gotta carry. I've got doors to open for other people. I don't have time. You know what I mean? But I get jealous. You love your life so much. You go out and you're so happy, and you want to do things. You want to go explore. You have all these desires. You want to travel. I don't think about traveling. Unless it's to a convention. You know what I mean? I don't think about traveling for me. So it's how do I open my heart up like you? You know what I'm saying? And it's because one, I'm guarded, but also I have no boundaries. You know what I mean? And then I get mad. Why do I have to have these boundaries? Why can't I live life the way I've been living it the entire time I've been living it? Now I got to learn all this stuff and all these rules I never even heard of. It's tough. So it's just yeah.
I'm gonna say two things. I'm gonna say this. First of all, to boundaries for everybody else that's watching. I think for people of our nature, and I feel like all four of us in this room right now are actually of that similar nature. Mm-hmm. I think we have to understand that it's not a matter of setting boundaries. Right. It's a matter of asserting who we are and making sure people understand, because you're not going to be able to show up this way all the time for everyone.
I'm gonna ask you a question, and if you have the same answer as me, then I'll know. Who are you?
Wow.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I have no freaking idea. I have no idea. People ask, who are you? I have no idea.
I continuously tell people I don't know, and to a point that you even made earlier, I still don't feel like I understand or think or even have a glimpse of what my purpose is. I feel like everyone else around me, my peers, are trying to figure that out, heading in a direction. But then for me, people see me and they're like, well, you're doing this, you did this, you finished school, you're doing a job in the career that you would think. I was yes, I did, but also I told you last year when we were talking, it's I enjoy being an engineer for when I was this time that I've been an engineer. I want to do the thing that I want to do. I feel like I've spent my life being that responsible person, that caretaker for all of this time. So it's just I don't know. I don't know who I am. And people don't seem to understand that, like you said, we might not post some of this interview. I don't think people understand that, like you said, I'm not allowed to be weak constantly. I've tried to be better about that. I try to be more vulnerable about that. But it doesn't escape the fact that that's just not something that comes easy to me.
No, I feel like, I don't know if this is that's trauma for you. It's trauma for me. A lot of the times when I feel like I let people in, or see who I am underneath, like behind, outside of Zeno's Hawks and he's this and he's that. Like when anybody gets to the core of who I am, I feel like they never like what they see. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they don't ever like what they see, and I drive them away. I don't feel like
it gets seen, bro. That's the crazy part.
Maybe
I don't feel like it gets seen. For me, speaking personally, I don't feel like it gets seen. I've shaded him for that, like since we've been here. I was like, yeah, you think you know what I'm talking about, but you don't. And it's not meant to be malicious. It's just like I genuinely feel.
I feel like I'm sure you feel this way too. Then it's just like I feel like I'm the only one in the world who feels like this, and nobody ever can understand me.
But yet, you still have to understand.
But see, for me, understanding others is my gift. Understanding others is my gift. And so, like, something my mom told me recently about a friendship, maybe this would be a good way to, like, kind of bring it around. Like she said, because I was so upset, and I was like, I failed this person. And then she was just like, like, sometimes God gives you a gift, and sometimes, like, it's like, for me, I think of Moses. Moses was like God's chosen dude. Like, you're going to lead my people out of bondage into the promised land. But then he was like, oh, but you'll never see it. Like, Moses messed up, right? Moses messed up. And God was like, oh, you'll never see it, though. I think that's one of the most craziest things I've ever heard biblically. Like, God said, I'm going to choose you to do this, but you're never gonna get that back. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, sometimes, like, that's sometimes how I feel. It's like my curse. Like, I will understand you. I will get every facet of any kind of thing you're talking about. So don't, like, be afraid to talk to me about anything. I will get it. But I don't think you'll get me.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to say this, and I'm going to wrap this up with a last question. I think we've had conversations, but I've just confirmed it here that we are a lot more alike than I realized. Yeah. But I think that there has to be a balance of things for us where we have to explore. And I think when we're always supporting people, that aspect gets lost. Yeah. So I'm gonna say this. And this will be my parting question for me, and then a parting question for the interview. So, the question I'm going to present is, I know you live on the next side of the world. You live in Charleston, South Carolina.
Right.
I don't know what your time is, but I would love to have you come and spend a weekend with me. I don't know what that entails or how that would be for you.
Right.
This is not about voice acting.
Cool.
Come, hang with us, get some food, man. Watch some shows. Just we'll talk about it more.
We'll talk about it.
You can just come, take some time for yourself, even if it's literally a day, just a day trip, just to come. I don't know if you've ever been to Charleston, South Carolina. Or we could meet up somewhere else. They'll tell you I drive the whole East Coast. If you're gonna be somewhere, you're gonna have like a day buffer on the East Coast or something. Just let me know. That's something I would like to offer to you, to go back to the point of how can I be a better friend to you.
And I said to bring that full circle, it's not necessarily what you said. It was your intention. Like, your intention is simply, I want to be a better friend to you. So here's what I will offer. It didn't have to be that, but that was your intention. And I think for me, that's how anybody could be a better friend to me. It's an attempt to see me. Like, it's an attempt to understand. And it's an attempt, not even like in a way that's like, it's just your intentions feel genuine, and they feel like they're coming from a genuine place. So that lets me know, maybe I can trust this person. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's how you can be a better friend. To me, is like when I feel something, like you checking in on me with genuine intention. You know what I'm saying? Like even like offering that, like I think for me it's like, oh wow, like this person is like trying actively to care. I should do better. That's probably I think the way.
So I don't know, real quick, how much time do we have? Any time? 40 seconds. We're just gonna have the conversation. Anything that you really liked about DreamCon so far? And if it cuts out,
man, I DreamCon is just communal for me. I think it's just about me celebrating what I love with my people and with people that I love. It's just coming together. There's nothing like this, I think, out there, and that's what I love about it. But I've actually really honestly loved this conversation. I don't know if this is your format, but this should be your format because this is crazy.
Bro.
Yeah.